Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Yeah, I know, a little late. Sorry, guys. Been having some issues here with the equipment. I haven't been able to get started. But welcome into the show, Kimberly K, Bishop Frank, Goated, Ganja, Oklahoma Ganja Grower, Sooners for Life, Brandon Snake, Sooner in Texas. Who else we got? Brian Sandlin. What's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome into the show, everybody. Do we really think that Texas is the favorite to win the national championship? I just don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. But y'all tell me, what do you really think? What's up, True Okie? Good to see everybody. Oh, let's see. What else? Drew. Oh, yeah, I know you got something to say about it. What up? Horns down. No, we don't. No, listen, I don't think so either. And, we were talking about this last night with Coach about, who are the true favorites to win the national championship in 2025. I don't even know that there's, the more I think about it, the more I look at it, I don't see any real clear-cut favorites. I don't see any real clear-cut favorites. I think that this is a good opportunity for a lot of teams around the country to kind of make a move. I think that Texas has a decent shot of getting back to the playoff again. I think that, they're still talented as you get, but I think it's going to be tough. I think it's tough for somebody like Texas to be with so much new in the building, so much new on the field, to expect that to happen right away. I know that would be just a golden, the Golden Arch would have a golden intro to college football if that were to happen, but I don't see it. Do I have the odds in front of me? Let me see. I can get them. It doesn't take much. Let's see. So it looks like tied at the top would be Texas and Ohio State. Georgia's not that far behind. This is on Vegas Insider. This is one of my favorite odds sites. So +5. They're showing Ohio State being +500, along with Texas. But Texas is either +500. Some got them at 550. Georgia about 650, +650. Oregon at +750. Penn State +800. Alabama +1400. Notre Dame, even though number 2, a lot of people have them up there at least as high as second in a lot of people's polls early on at this point. And I think if I have a true favorite, I got to put Notre Dame up there. The more I think about Clemson, they're showing them at +2000 here. Notre Dame is at +1400, about the same as they're showing Alabama a lot of places. The more I look at them, I think Clemson, Notre Dame, I think they both pretty good shot. I mean, you got as much coming back as you could possibly have. Yeah, Texas +500. So yeah, what's up there, Satterfield? Yeah. OU's odds. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. We're pretty way down there. In fact, it's like +6,500. Now, so according to Vegas, yeah, it's going to be long odds for Oklahoma. But I would just tell you again, I don't know that you're seeing the value would be good if you think they're going to win it. If you think they're going to win it +1400 or so, that would be pretty good. Look, I think it's great value on teams like, because you got Florida and South Carolina at 4,000 plus 4,000. Oklahoma's at plus 6,500, even as high as like plus 7,000. So for everything that you see as far as the changes that were made, because what you really had to see be big for Oklahoma to have a shot. I mean, because to go through this schedule and to be able to win like that, you need a quarterback that can, a lot of people think that John Mateer could win the Heisman. And I think that, with this offense being what it is, if they can stay healthy, and I mean, these are all according to health anyway, but I mean, 40-1 on Florida wouldn't be terrible. I think that they got a schedule that's right up there with OU's. And they're playing it again. And last year they did the same. Now, of course, they won 8 games last year. Nobody expected them to win more than like 5, but that's where I think it's fun. It's weird to me that a lot of people aren't really shifting their expectations a whole lot. I mean, if you even look at, you saw it kind of went down for Tennessee, but not really. They've got them at plus 1,800. They've got Michigan at plus 2,800 to win the Natty. And to me, that's crazy because I don't see how you would pick Tennessee to do anything. I just don't see it. I mean, even the guys at that SEC podcast, I mean, they're true Vols fans. And, and I know some fans are different than others. And it seems like SEC Mike is more of a, let's see, got to show me kind of guy before he just buys in. I don't think he believed that they were going to win with Nico. Once Nico left, I think I don't think they had much of a chance to get back to the playoff anyway. But that's just me. But Miami at plus 3,000. Ole Miss still being there at plus 2,500. They lost a ton. I know they got kind of busy in the spring portal, but you're just going to assume again that Austin Simmons is going to come in and just blow up immediately. It's just wild. So, man, I have a hard time seeing a lot of them. But again, and I'm going to sit here and tell you that I'm not expecting Oklahoma to win the national championship. I'm not. What I do think is that I believe that a lot of these teams, I think it's as wide open as you've seen probably in the last a while, man. It's been a long time. How many people believe that how many people right here, right now believe that Alabama is a favorite? Probably very few of you, right? And I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. I do think that they're one of the favorites. I think that they're going to have a quarterback that can throw it, and they're going to have an offense that has the ability to get it done. More so than they had with Jalen Milroe, because not that I don't like Jalen Milroe, but Milroe's not a guy that's going to be able to complete a bunch of passes and beat you with his arm unless he's beating you with his legs too. Hey, what's up, Chris? It's been a while since I've seen you in here. Let's see. Buying anything Florida seems kind of insane to me because of the uncertainty regarding DJ Lagway. Yeah, I don't know that it's as much about DJ. Like, I think Professor's saying, have you looked at the roster? The roster is stacked. And I think if you're, being an Oklahoma fan, you got to kind of look at that in the same way. Now, I get if you're saying that you don't think that DJ Lagway is going to be there. I don't think they win without DJ Lagway. I don't think Professor thinks they win without DJ Lagway. I could be wrong. But I would tell you that, yes, Alabama should be a favorite. But what I'm getting at is Georgia, they're up there in the odds. How many people really believe that Georgia's going to be the best football team? I don't know that I do. We don't know a ton about Georgia. They kind of had to go. When's the last time you started seeing? I was saying this last night. I asked Coach, when's the last time you saw Curry had to go to portal to get guys from, for the defensive line, especially? Yeah, and Lagway, no, Lagway doesn't have to do it all, but without him, I don't know that you're going to be able to do enough. And I think it's hard enough with the schedules that Oklahoma and Florida have. If you don't have really good quarterback play, you're not going anywhere. You're going to have to be able to win at, see, there you go. Little Coop would not with Gunnar Stockton at quarterback. No. Now, would it freak you completely out if they were still what they always are? If they just continued to do what they do? It's Kirby Smart. They still recruit very well. No, it wouldn't probably freak you out. Chris says, "Oh, you was top 5 SEC this year." Look, I think a lot of people think that too. I think a lot of people are still sleeping there, and that's okay. It is for us OU fans. We're okay with you sleeping on it. I'm good with that. In fact, I wish more people were. But Andy Staples, he still is. Didn't even put him in his top 25. He's got Nebraska in it. The fuck we talking about? Texas Tech's in his top 12. They're at number 11, I think. Yeah. Availability, not skill. I'm just not certain he will play. Well, but I feel like he probably does play, number one, because he shouldn't have probably played any of the second half of the year with the injury that he had. And had it not been for Lagway just getting in there and getting after it. But I know a lot of people think that if he doesn't go down in the Georgia game, that may change. That may have ended up being a Florida win. What's up there, Chicken? It'll all be up to Mateer. Not just Mateer. It's going to take that offense doing what it's doing. And, listen, I think that he's as big a part of it as anybody else, because I think that, you need somebody that can step up and be the leader that it looks like he is. I also think that, call me crazy, but I still think that Michael Hawkins could have something to do with it before all said and done. That being said, again, the best chances for Oklahoma to get to the playoff with John Mateer doing what he does, knowing this system, this being his third year in it, and him having as good a season as possible, being in New York, a Heisman finalist type of year, 9 wins, 10 wins, something like that. I still feel like they're probably somewhere between 8 and 10. 10, it's a special year, but there's a lot of little landmines that pop up for Florida and Oklahoma when you start looking at that, and I think if anything, that's probably why you didn't see the odds move a ton, even though I think that most people would believe that OU's a lot better than damn sure what they were last year, and what you would have expected probably after seeing what they did last year. You probably just wouldn't have expected a whole lot different, right? That's just kind of, yeah. Now, yeah, see, and like Hawkins will be better than most. Listen, man, I think that if you did have an injury or anything like that, that I don't think that anybody else has as good a guy coming off the bench for an injury, for sure. It'll be all up to the O-line, actually. This is a smart. I mean, look, yeah, if the O-line has to be better. But I think just having a more solid game plan is going to help that happen. I'd like to see a lot less of some of the things that we saw last year. But I think just having the guys that you have in the room and a competent game plan is going to help a lot of that stuff too. Brandon Snake says, you need to be top 25 to 30 to make the playoff. Defense will be better than last year. Yeah, I firmly believe, and this is what I would say about, I think that, again, I could say the same thing about Florida in this. They're going to go as far as their defense takes them. Florida's got one of the best defensive lines. I think Oklahoma has the best defensive line in the SEC. That's my feeling on it. But I don't think Florida would be very far behind. Obviously, you don't expect for Georgia to be too far behind on that as well, which is why I would still say that they're going to be pretty good. Watch that defensive line at Alabama as well. Again, I believe they're going to be right there. Now, LSU, we hadn't really said much about LSU. Their odds are, I mean, they're up there. They're right behind Clemson. They're at plus 2,000, tied with Clemson, as far as the odds are concerned. I don't know. I think that that's because you still don't know what their defense is going to look like. Is it going to be better? Now they get, they get what's his name back to, but we don't know what's going to happen with him either. But um, yeah, you can say that if you want to. I don't think that you're right. Texas filled up their D line. Okay, but here's what I would say about that. And listen, I'm not just going to sit here and trash out on Texas and what they are. I'm going to tell you, I think that it's a longer shot for them to go and win this thing than it is for OU to get in it and have a shot at it too. I said that before. I'm going to say it again. I don't think that Texas, with everything that's new in that building, you're looking at upwards of 50 guys that are new to the program or in their first year of being a starter. They had before the transfer portal that they just backfilled a bunch of guys. They had a majority either redshirt or true freshmen coming in to, play 40 guys, something like that. Now they added another 5, 7, 8 guys in the portal. So you're pushing closer to 50 new faces at Texas and expecting them all to produce and it all to work out just fine. Especially when, as much look, not expecting Arch to ever struggle at all or to have his bumps in the road. I think it's crazy talk. I think week 1, you're going to the shoe. They got a lot of new stuff there. But they got a lot of guys that were there and played in that national championship game and won it. I think it's tough. Maybe they have. What do we think they have in Julian Sand? I don't know. I think he's pretty good. I think a lot of people expected him to be pretty good, whether he was at Alabama or at Ohio State. And they've got. Now, I would tell you that I don't know that Ohio State's a co-favorite to me either. I think both of them are further. They have a better opportunity of. I think Ohio State can make it because I don't know, but I mean, as far as talent's concerned, and I think it's easier to get out of the Big Ten. What I'm not sure about is what are they going to look like with Brian Hartline as the OC? Does it change a whole lot? Probably not. But what's his play calling like? You got a new quarterback. I don't know. I think it's there's a lot of new stuff, but they got a lot of guys that are coming back that are studs. Straight up. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, there's probably not a better player in the country, period, anywhere. Should have okay. Now another good defensive year. I mean, what you've got Colin Simmons. We expect that he's going to do his thing, right? Then what? Texas O-line was overrated. I think that's crazy talk, dude. The bottom line is you're replacing everybody else but Texas. If you were replacing 4 out of 5 offensive linemen to start the year, there would be a lot bigger questions. Nobody would be just picking anybody else to win the national championship with a first-year quarterback and replacing 4 out of 5. What's up there, Ryman? Okay. Anthony Hill, Michael Taft. Cool. I like them both. I think he's a great player. But we're talking about 3 guys. And I get it that they were heavy in the portal to try to shore up what was definitely a deficiency. Nobody believed that. How many of you guys were talking about you needed all 5 of those dudes that y'all added on the D line? They handled it. Oh, get out of here. Bro, all I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it like I said last night, man. If you don't believe that your offensive line was good enough to put a guy like me in the end zone from the 2-yard line in that game against OSU, I think you're full of shit. They're going sideways. I don't think it's about as much about what they had or what I still believe that Sark, when it gets down to certain things and when you get into the nut cutting time, his play calling, his game planning is to me what has been the issue. I'm not going to sit here and even blame it all on Quinn Ewers. I think there was times we saw it throughout his tenure there that he's had ridiculous second halves of games. Yeah. Well, who was it that was saying that it was on? Oh man, I'm trying to remember who it was. It was like, yeah, of course everybody wants to predict them. You know, that's the predictions you're going to get. No, they didn't get into the end zone because he ran stupid play calls from the 2. He didn't even try to run it in from there. He didn't even, I mean, hell, you could have put Arch in there and let him do his little QB sneak thing. You could have done it with Quinn. Instead, you're going the other way. Throwing sideways down the line and then, rolling him out and shit and getting him strip sacked in ball game. It was wild. Can the first year QB starters handle the fast pace of OU defense? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. The fast pace, I guess, what you're. Yeah. No, he didn't. No, he didn't down there. No, he didn't. When they got down to the 2-yard line, and they had just gotten they got down there with two. Well, one of them was questionable, but 2 calls got them right down to the 2-yard line. They ran 2 plays, and neither one of them was going into the end zone. Neither one of them. Go back and watch the game. Go back and watch that part. Yeah. What are we talking about? Drew, DG and yours? Yeah. What a time. Oh, what a time. DG and yours get kicked to the curb by their own teams. Richie Dubs. What up, man? Thank you, man. Now you're an OSU guy, so who do you got? Do you agree with them being a co-favorite still to return to the national championship? And if so, why? Do you think they're just going to turn the page and be just what they were? Feels like it's a lot to ask from them. And I think Ohio State, again, another one of those teams that they're immediately going to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the media and that kind of stuff, right? Top 20 in scoring D and O, going to be just fine. I don't think, yeah, okay. Yeah, that'd be all that would be true, Looney, if they actually ran towards the goal line. If they were going north and south on either of those 2 plays that they had from the 2, I'd be with you. They weren't. Yes. Mhm. Well, I mean, I don't know how many times you're going to see repeat champions at this point anyway, right? Correct. Run the ball. Just run the fucking ball. Hell, you could have put anybody in there to run the football. Yeah. Better bets. Yeah. Yeah. I would just tell okay. I that's that's probably fair. Yeah, and I mean, look, I think that Texas fans, by and large, and I'm not necessarily saying you right now, but a lot of Texas fans are shitting on Quinn Ewers. You know what I mean? What's up there, Alpha? Uh, I feel like it's what's up, man? Good to see you. They're shitting on Quinn Ewers when Quinn did quite a bit, you know. I mean, he's the most successful quarterback you've had in there in a long time. But seeing it repeats like an undefeated team, Chicken says. That's wild to me. He he knew they couldn't do it. I don't know. I don't agree. I don't think that. I think you're overthinking it. If you don't think that you can get in from the two, then what kind of football team are you then? Because I don't buy that at all. I, so their little orbit screen or whatever it is that they try to do. If you're going to do anything, but even then, I don't. I think you just it isn't that hard. Run the fucking football forward. That's it. I don't know, man. I was watching the Fanatic Perspectives. Shout out to Steven yesterday, and he was loving on him. But there were a lot of people in that chat that absolutely were not. And I think that believing that you're going to get no hiccups out of Arch Manning is pretty wild to me. What's up there, corporate ducks? Good to see you, Orca, Looney, Bob. What up? I think Manning will be better. I don't know that Manning won't be better, but I just think that expecting that it's all gonna hinge on all of a sudden they're gonna be 10 times better when it's not the only change that there is there at Texas. Everything is changing aside from a couple of positions. How many of the same dudes are starting this next year? You got one guy on the line, you've got Colin Simmons, you've got Ant Hill. What? One other guy there on the defense? Come on, man. So I think it's tough. I think it's tough, and I think Ohio State playing Ohio State early on, that's tough too. You're going on the road to the shoe. They're defending champs. That it's going to be a tough place to go in and get a win. Not saying it can't happen because again, I think that Julian Sayin making his first start or who if it is Julian Sayin, which I assume that's who it is. I mean, we'll see, but. Yeah, the year before that. Yeah. Hot take: Texas will stay shut out by UGA through the second year of the SEC. Oh yeah, there's another one. So then you got to go on the road to Georgia as well. You're on the road in the swamp against Florida. The week after that, you got Oklahoma. So and Oklahoma's got a decided advantage there because they're playing Kent State the week before. You're gonna. I mean, no matter what, if you win the game at Florida, and that's a big if to me. You win that game at Florida. What do you bring into the Cotton Bowl the next week? It's going to have taken all kinds to get out of the swamp and with a win. If you don't, it's still going to have taken a lot out of you. Michigan and the 5-star Bryce Underwood. You know what? Do I think he'll make a difference? I think he will. I don't know. I don't know what I expect. I think that Michigan they should be better, right? I don't think they were as bad as what their record looked like. I mean, obviously they beat Ohio State at the end of the year. Not that that's a huge deal, because they've been beating Ohio State. They just know the formula to do it. But here's let's look at this schedule. I have that schedule somewhere, but I thought I had it available ready. I'll just look this way. Michigan schedule. Yeah, I mean, they come to OU week 2. But aside from that, I mean, they open with New Mexico. Then they got Central Michigan, Nebraska. They're on the road for that one. Wisconsin at home, on the road to SC. I mean, they beat all these teams last year. They get Washington at home after that, on the road to Michigan State. I mean, chances are they could be a lot better because the fact they don't have the toughest schedule out there, you know? I think aside from Oklahoma early, um, I mean, Wisconsin, I don't think that they're gonna be a whole lot better. It doesn't feel like they're gonna be a whole lot better. Maybe a little bit, but then SC, okay, I mean, you're on the road. Um, it's not like they feel that join up these days, so I don't know that it really matters there. They beat them last year. Do I think that they're good enough to beat them again? I don't know. I think that that could be a loss there if USC has made any improvements. Um, the Washington games at home, I don't know what I think of them yet. I mean, I think they got a good coach. I think that they got a pretty good team, but these are the best games that they have until they get to the Ohio State game. I mean, Maryland, they've got Northwestern, Purdue, Michigan State, after they get done with the Oklahoma game, they don't have a ton of games that they should lose. You know what I mean? So if he's good, and I mean, let's don't get it twisted, he's a stud. Is he? And could you see them winning 9 games, 10 maybe? Yeah, you could. I think 9 wins is what they have to be. I think they have to expect that at Michigan right now, looking at that schedule. But I don't know that that's going to be because that guy is that guy. Krusty, I say whatever I want, bro. Mary J, what's up? Morning AAA fan. She does. OSU lost more than Texas because of the 2 coordinators. True. Not necessarily lost as much as far as Texas players, as far as the players go. Yeah, I think the biggest loss, I've been saying this, I think Ohio State's biggest loss was Chip Kelly. I think it was Chip Kelly. They lost some players too, but I think they're still loaded in some places too. They never thought in 1,000 years they'd lose to Texas. Why didn't they think? Oh, come on, man. I don't buy that shit. They weren't that good, man. Come on. The Michigan game would be a lot of fun. I think that's a big game for Oklahoma early. It's a big game for Oklahoma early. I think that Michigan's really good. I think we're waiting and seeing. I think they should be better. They didn't have a quarterback that could throw it all last year. I mean, they just didn't. So they were pretty one dimensional. There was not a whole lot you were going to get out of them that way. So in that sense, yeah, I think even if they go with the Fresno State quarterback, which it doesn't sound like that, right? Yeah, coming off the natty, they were delusional. Yeah, okay. I can say the same thing about Texas fans coming off of 2 trips to the playoff. I think you guys are delusional too. And you got the college football media craziness going on with you. Everybody's expecting all this stuff. Oklahoma by 1,000,000,000,000 over Michigan. I'd like to see that. I mean, look, it'd be good if having it at home, you really don't have an excuse to not win. You really don't. You need to make sure that happens. See, I always think that this is a weird way to go about. I think you play the guy that's the best player. Period. End of story. It's not a money thing. This cannot be a money. If you want to win, what's the best use of that money? Win the fucking football games. Win the games. But look, I think that it's probably Underwood. Even the kid from Fresno State, though, he's a damn sight better than who they had in the room last year. Well, how could you be? He hasn't played a snap. Well, and the concern would be you can have it. Look, as an Oklahoma fan that watched that shit show last year, It's not about whether you have an elite defense, and their defense was pretty damn elite. They only gave up 27 to you guys for as good as you guys were supposed to be on the offensive side. Only gave up 27. Yeah, they were bad. They didn't have a guy that could throw the ball at all. Either one of the Alex Orji, he can't throw. Warren Davis, I didn't even know that was their other guy. I forgot his name. Yeah, they weren't good, man. So, I mean, to me, whoever you play, you got a better chance, I think, with these guys this, and I think even with a true freshman, he's gonna have his moments, I'm sure. Sure, he's gonna have freshman moments. Especially, I think that it's tough for if you're Michigan and you're looking at it like, okay, yeah, we really like this guy. But his second start, assuming that he starts both games, his second start is going to be against the best defensive coordinator mind in college football, who's going to have some stuff that you've never seen. He's going to try to put him in a blender. They're going to do things that Underwood's never going to have seen anything like that. I think it's tough. No doubt. No doubt about that. Any given week, any team can lose, no doubt. But I think it's a tough tough ask for you to expect a true freshman making his second start to deal with what Brent Venables' defense is going to throw at him and have a ton of success on the road at the Palace. I think that's tough, man. Lost their top, yeah. Well, I think. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't think. I know that Michigan, as much as people don't give them credit for recruiting a whole lot with Harbaugh, what they did was they recruited their type of players, and that smash mouth. You're going to have guys that are dynamic as receivers, but are you going to throw it a ton? I don't think that Moore puts him into a bunch of situations where he's got to win it with his arm. I think that what you want to do is hope that your defense can keep it close and kind of run that and run the clock. Sharon's not stupid. He's not going to try to get into a situation where they're throw. I just don't see that from him. That's not who he is. Michigan fans will melt down if they lose to OU. They should melt. They shouldn't. OU fans are going to melt down if they get beat. I can tell you that. Because there's not really an excuse to lose that game if you're Oklahoma. I know it's a test game. It's a game, early season test that you want to make sure that you pass. I think it's similar to like do you expect Florida State to be what they were last year? I don't. I think they're better. I don't know how much better. Do I think that they're beating Alabama? No, I don't. But if you're an Alabama fan, you're probably like, really hope not. I really hope not. Yeah, okay. Rather play him at the beginning of the year than at the end. Sure. That's fair. He hadn't had a chance to get his feet underneath him by the time Oklahoma season. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be funny. There's multiple difference makers. Giovanni Gibson should be back by the time everything that I've heard coming from every corner of it is that he should be back ready to go as early as week 1. I don't think you need to bring him back at week 1. I don't think I think if you start fitting him in, if he is good to go and you kind of get him going week 3, week 4, whatever, then cool. Drew, are you sure you're not talking about like Ohio State fans? Because usually I haven't had a ton of crazy talk from Michigan fans that I've seen so far. There was that one kooky broad that was on there on Twitter a couple of years ago that Sooner girl like made her cry and shit. But I hadn't seen a ton of that. But then again, I don't know, man. I think that if that's what Michigan fans would say, then I would say they're as delusional as a lot of fans from a lot of fan bases that act like OU's just a nothing program when they're a blue blood too. But as far as who he has to throw to, there's a lot of guys. There's guys that were on the roster that you didn't go get, but I would say you still got Satania that as far as your roster guys that you added. Um, we hadn't seen a ton of hold on, let me go through this real quick. Let me find the depth chart. So Keontez Lewis, I mean, apparently he's been playing pretty well. Jaden Gibson, if Jaden Gibson is back and healthy at any time this year, he's a big problem. But Keontez Lewis had been going through a groin injury early in the spring. You didn't see a lot of him. It sounds like towards the end of the spring, he was starting to look a lot better. Isaiah Satania looked really good at times. I still think Zion Kearney's going to have a big sophomore season. He's the guy coming in behind Giovanni right now. He was starting to play pretty well. He had that drop, of course, in the bowl game, but I mean, the guy's a stud, and he's another big body guy, another 6'4" guy. Ivan Carryon's another, chance that where you can see a lot of him. Don't be surprised if you see guys like Elijah Thomas as freshmen or Manny Choice become something by the end of the year. There's a lot of guys in there. There's not a dude, and Deion Burks is the first answer that you should give. As of right now, he's healthy and ready to go. I don't know that there's anybody in college football that can cover that guy when he's healthy. So I think that it sets up for Oklahoma to be better as the year goes along. Manuel Choice making waves. He has at times, yeah. He has at times. Bass I think he got re-injured there, chicken. I don't really expect much out of Andy Bass. Got to stop the run. That was the hard thing for nobody really ran the ball in Oklahoma last year, and they got better in that area. That's the thing. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of time to throw, and I don't think anybody's going to run on them. I don't think anybody's going to run on them. Yeah, Burks has to stay healthy, no doubt. Who did I call a snake? Oh, what? Are you talking to me? OJW. You can pack it in, snake, if y'all lose that Michigan game. Are you calling me a snake, sucker? Yeah, it won't go over well. It wouldn't be the end of the world, just like it wouldn't be the end of the world for you guys to lose to Ohio State. But it would feel like the end of the world in Norman, I promise. No, I agree with that. I think that he has, I don't think that there's gonna be a lot of talk about it. I think they're going to show you when it comes to this, but I think he's done well. I'm asking you, who you calling snakes, sucker? Crusty. Projected to be available in November, so at the very end of the season. Yeah, I, I think that'd be cool and all, but you've lost him to two bad injuries in the last 2 years. I would probably give it time, see what happens. I don't know that. I mean, I don't see that. I don't see if we're depending on Andy Bass to be something for this team to move forward. I think we're in trouble already. But I mean, you look at the kind of athlete he is. It'd be fun to see him come in at some point. I feel like that's probably next season, not this one. Y'all are on one today. Texas ain't going to beat Ohio State. I don't know. I think it's a tough ask. the player we want to run jet sweeps with? Yeah, probably. um, yeah, I don't know about 4-2. I've heard 4-3. 4-3-6 is the number I hear. But if he did that in high school, that's cool. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. As far as I'm not prepared to speak about Andy Bass. Why are you guys throwing that shit at me? Tennessee will be tough. Their stadium is tough, and I think they've got something to prove after the quarterback debacle. Yeah, but who they proving it with, Mary J? I mean, I agree with you. I think that that's one of the games that you circle on the calendar. We got to be by them at home, so you certainly got to look at that one and be like, yeah. But I don't know where they're headed with it. There's a lot that they have to replace too. It's just like that. I mean, it surprises me that people still think that they're one of the favorites to get back to the playoff. I don't. Now their schedule isn't necessarily the toughest in the SEC either, but I struggle with that. I don't see them doing it. I don't know who they're throwing to. They lost Dylan Sampson. They're piecing that defense back together, almost an entirely new offensive line also. And I mean, we're not talking about the best offense in the world anyways last year. All OU has to do is not turn it right back over to them when they got two turnovers inside the 30 on one and inside the inside the 10 on the other one. Give it right back. OU probably wins that game. Yeah, yeah. I mean, 4-2 is blazing, right, Chicken? That's tough. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, listen. I think that that's what they're going to have to depend on that defense to be that again, though. And so I don't know, man. I think Tennessee's. It's definitely one of the games that I've had circled, but I'm less worried about them today than I was before the Nico deal. I wouldn't go so far as to say that I'm not worried about them at all, but I'm less worried about them. I'm still not a big worrier about South Carolina being something huge, like a lot of people I think are. I don't think they are. I think that when you put expectations on South Carolina, they don't usually live up to them, and they have expectations now. Yeah, chicken 4-2 is an act of God. Kinda, yeah. Yeah. Um, I think if he's still a 4-5 guy at his size, at being 135 or 230, 235, whatever it is. And, I just think it's gonna be pretty sick. Yeah, it's Chris Johnson fast. Yeah. Yeah, man. This 4-2 is sick. It's ridiculous to even think of almost. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like that's kind of. But again, and then but let's just. I mean, we can look here at the schedule. I mean, there's some landmines though. If you're Oklahoma, there's no doubt about it. And I think the biggest one, Mary J, I'll just tell you, is I think the biggest one for me. You worry about the Texas game because it's Texas, no matter what. But after that, I mean, shit, the Alabama game, especially with them. It's Bama in there in Tuscaloosa late in the year, coming off a bye week again, which is good news for Oklahoma, but it's shit. I think Bama could be at this time of year they could be rolling, and they've got revenge on their mind. They do. But those games, obviously Red River. I think Ole Miss getting them at home. I think we should have beat them last year. Tennessee on the road. I think you could win that one. But I think, obviously the thing is like when you start in that Red River, it goes South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, then Bama, then Mizzou and LSU. That's a tough stretch of freaking football games right there. That's a tough stretch of football games. And I think they're going to beat the brakes off of him of Mizzou. I think Mizzou's trash. I think they were trash last year, but I think they're damn sure trash now. And Oklahoma is that's a the statement that OU wants to make in that game is probably, I suspect, is the statement that Alabama wants to make against Oklahoma at home. Then you got to turn around though and play LSU, and they just haven't had. Yeah, I don't think I've never heard that he ran that. By the way, 4-2. I just haven't heard that. I don't know if that's urban legends happen, but 4-2 is ridiculous. What did you run, Shotty? 4-2, 4-3? Did you run a 4-2 ever? Really? It says online, I'm reading it now, that Jaron Kanek ran a 4-2 in the pro agility during his this past offseason? Huh. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. Feels like urban legend to me. I don't know. But hey, man, if he's still running like that, then that's badass. That's good to hear. Yeah, they're gonna get mids. Nobody cares about Missouri, but they so want it to be a big thing, and they definitely have turned it personal more so than it ever probably was. Curious if it's recorded hand time or digitally. Yeah, no telling. I'm skeptical about times like that. It's just a ooh, looky there, and that's flying. That's flying, bro. Jaron said he's a 4-4 guy. That's what they've always talked about, is him being a 4-4, maybe a 4-3-8 guy. Damn, Shotty, that's flying. No wonder you could have gone anywhere you wanted to. Shit. Did you run track too at Georgia? Or just pot? Did. Yeah. I think LSU's gonna be good too. I think LSU's good too. I think that their quarterback situation, and they're always gonna have receivers. They added the not only did they get Nick Anderson, but they got the kid out of Kentucky's a dog too, man. What's his name? Gray or wait, make sure. They're loaded, bro. On offense, anyway. Barry and Brown. Now, our lads has Nick Anderson showing him as the starter at the X. I don't know if I believe that or not. Yeah, maybe. Chris Hilton isn't going to still be good. Xavier Thomas. Mm-hmm. But they're loaded anyways. I mean, they've got guys. But yeah, Barry and Brown was, I mean, shit. They just didn't throw the ball, but he was still good. Yeah. That's still really fast though, man. I mean, when you start talking about 4-2, we're talking about track speed, Olympic track speed. That's not what I don't know, man. That's easy to say, but tell me what you see. Tell me what you're saying. What are these 4 losses to you? Because you can say 7, 5, 8, and 4. You can say 6 and 7 like a lot of dumbasses are doing. Missouri is not OU's rival. They're not a rival. When they can win a bunch of those games, then we'll hear about it. They're not a rival. Oh, nice. 24-foot long jumper? Damn. Bro, pretty damn close to Olympic shit right there, bro. I don't know. I don't know. Oklahoma's going to have to win one of those games before you can really call it a rivalry. Same thing. I mean, why am I going to tell you Missouri isn't a rival? Because fuck them. Nobody cares about them. They don't win. They've got a few more wins than Okie Light in all those years, and they've been just about as successful. So yeah, come on. I ain't having it. This is why I struggle to believe that they're going to win the Natty. Now we've seen LSU win it with probably lesser coaches than what Kelly is as far as overall. But it just doesn't seem to fit there. There's just something off about that marriage. Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah. Then thinking he's going to come and own the SEC at LSU. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I, if you look at his track record and what he's been as a head coach for his career, I think it's easy to just say, yeah. And I think I probably was like, yeah, I think LSU gets a lot better under him. But I think it matters that whether or not if you fit in it's a different place down there in Baton Rouge, man. It's different folks than what he's used to in the Midwest and in upstate New York, kind of, or in New York anyway. Yeah, there you go. They talked their way into a lot of deep shit whenever I mean, all that stuff Drink was saying after the game about Stoops was weird to me. I would agree with what you're saying, Bob. That's what I was saying. You figure if Les can do it. Now, Les is a good coach. He's just a terrible human. But like for Coach O to, win, I mean, he had a lot of good coaches around him and they were just loaded with talent. And I think that that's what I mean, you look at what Kelly is if they can get the talent to not do a lot of crazy things. And again, I'm going to say here, we hadn't really talked a lot about this on the show, but shout out to the family of Kyron Lacey. I hate hearing what I heard about that, him passing and all that stuff and him killing himself. It's just not cool. It's a terrible, terrible thing to have happen. Those are the kind of things, though, that can kind of galvanize football teams, too, is when you have tragedies that it can kind of, your why changes a little bit a lot of times. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys on that team that love that guy. So, look, I think they're dangerous for sure. Very dangerous. If their defense is good, it's going to be tough. Yeah, Coach O kind of hit the lottery, no doubt about that. Yeah, it's never been a right. Yeah, that's a Greg Sankey thing. Him wanting to make sure that Oklahoma plays them every year. Absolutely. But I mean, they had they had a great quarterback, really good receivers, two of them that are, both of them can probably be considered top 5 at worst top 10 in the NFL right now. They had a hell of a defense too. And obviously with the coaches, the guys that they had at the coordinator spots were really good, you know. But I mean, Coach O, I think Coach O's been a really good coach throughout his career. I don't a head coach, whatever. I think that once he won it, he's been enjoying the spoils of that victory since, and it got him in trouble. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and I mean, look, again, you know, competitive stuff aside, I mean, that's a terrible thing to have happen to your program. And it's a terrible thing that it's been allowed to get to that point. There's a lot of weird, the accident that he was in that killed the old man. I've heard some weird stuff about that it really wasn't him. It was somebody else that he was involved in the accident with that's one that hit him or something. I don't know. I don't know the details to all that. And, you can say what you want about, if whatever, he was probably going to be in some trouble anyway. But that being said, we know that he has some mental health problems, and these things often go unchecked, and nobody pays attention to it. You know, I think it sucks. I was gonna say, isn't it? It is a new day, but I don't think that it matters. That when it comes to Missouri, damn man, nobody cares about those guys. When they could win a bunch of games over Oklahoma, Oklahoma will consider them. But here's the one thing I'm gonna tell you one thing. That's a win that Venables really wants. He didn't. You remember he didn't shake his hand before or after the game last year. Um, None of that shit because of the stuff that went down in recruiting, some of the stuff that they were doing, the things that were being said. There's definitely no love lost there at all. He's such a weirdo, isn't he, Greg? No, nobody does care about it. And the problem that's yeah. I think he caused the crash with the fast driving, but wasn't in the crash. Yeah, I don't know. Something like that. But it was, I don't know exactly what happened. But anyway, again, there's a lot of questions about that, right? And a person lost their life in that, which sucks. Whatever the deal was, you know, he was going to probably pay for whatever on that end of it. But whatever was going on with his family and stuff, I don't know. All I know is that there's been a lot of signs of him struggling with his mental health, and it sucks. Yeah, Missouri. Ugh. And then the whole thing with, I mean, man, Theo Weiss acted a fool after that game too. It's too bad he won't be there. Am I worried about South Carolina at all? Not a ton. I'm really not. I mean, now listen, don't get me wrong. I think that they're good. I really like their quarterback. I think Lenoris is a really good player. Coach Ison, his nephew is really good receiver over there. I don't know what they look like as far as running the ball aside from Lenoris, though. Their best running back isn't there. They lost a lot of, I think they lost a lot of what was up front. They certainly lost at least one half of that, those defensive ends that are what gave Oklahoma so much trouble last year. But I still look at them and I say, who did they beat that was really good last year? Who did they beat? I mean, who was their best win? Ole Miss beat the shit out of them in Columbia. They lost. It was a close game at Alabama, but they're able to do that. They're able to get some close games. They had the close game against LSU. People said they got screwed out. Okay, they still lost. That seems to be what they do. And again, I just think I'm just going to say this and let everybody clip it if they want to. I think Shane Beamer is awful as a head coach. I just don't think he's worth a shit. He's weird and just, you want to talk about cringy when he says stupid shit? It's cringy to me. It's just cringy to me. But anyway, yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt, Mary J. Absolutely. Now, as far as drink called Teddy drunk after the game around midnight? Oh, no. Oh, Lord. Happy wet Wednesday, everybody. Guys, I know that we haven't been going that long, but I'm gonna have to I gotta get to work. So I gotta get this dog out and do some other stuff before I go, but I'm gonna have to go ahead and we'll get back to this some more here in the next couple of days. Tonight I'll be on with I think we're supposed to do with Marcus Dent on the Gridiron Insight. I'm not exactly sure what that one's going to be about, but I'm going to be on with them, and then after that Thursday night I'll be on with K Chris and Chris Mason. That'll be right here on this channel as well. So we'll be doing some of that stuff. But I didn't realize that he had talked shit about Teddy. I knew he was talking a lot of shit about Stoopsy. Yeah. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody coming in. I know it was a quick one today, but I mean, we're gonna have to start doing some a little shorter. But I was a little late. I was having equipment issues, but I've got to get for sure. I can't be late to work. So um, definitely appreciate everybody coming in. Let me know what you think. I mean, handicap it yourself. Let's do that over the next few over the next few weeks or whatever. We'll start kind of breaking down some of these teams one by one in the SEC, just to kind of get a better idea of who they are. Haven't decided exactly how we're going to do that, but it's something I've been talking to both of those guys about that do the morning show with me. We are expecting some guests over the next couple of weeks. And even maybe Friday. So Friday ought to be a pretty good one. I think we may have a guest on here that should be good, something you guys will enjoy. But again, we'll be back on. I'll be back on with Marcus Den and them tonight. K Chris and Chris Mason tomorrow, and then Friday morning right back here on Rise and Shine College Football. Make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate it, T Boomer. Goated all you guys that came in. I appreciate all the chat and everything, and everybody popping in here to spend some time with us this morning. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't already. Share it with your friends, and we'll see you all on the next one.